Matt, Maria, welcome to my living room.
Lisa, we are thrilled to be here.
I am thrilled to have you. How are you guys doing down there in Miami?
I think we're really enjoying that we decided to come down here.
Yeah, I'm in Jersey City, so I mean, I'm literally in the epicenter of the whole thing. And who knows when we're going to be open and back to business.
I was born in Jersey City. How about that, right?
I just have to start the interview by saying, so I spent quarantine getting my branding straightened out, and I finally switched my headshot to the one that features your beautiful makeup that you did for me, Maria. My phone blew up. Oh my God, you look beautiful. So I thank you so, so much, because I look the opposite right now. So thank you very much.
You were welcome. Very pleased. It was an amazing experience.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Are you doing?
I want you to know she did my hair for this interview.
I actually did. It's true.
Are you doing makeup down there?
Not so much now due to quarantine. So it was a good, trial to do the makeup while doing this interview, so I don't forget my skills.
Yeah.
Basically, I've refused to model for makeup. That's what that means.
Well, we have a little doggy with us right now. Sometimes I can practice makeup on her.
What's her name?
That's Mia.
Mia, beautiful.
She's in charge of the house. She's been managing the quarantine situation.
Well, she's my model. She's my fashion model right now. Since we have quarantine and no one's available anymore except me, Matt, and her, so somebody has to sacrifice space.
Yeah, absolutely. So how are you surviving quarantine right now, Matt?
I think we're actually doing really well. I mean, I'm running my company. I'm with a new company now, Lux Now. And we're actually running our company, even though we're in the travel business, and obviously travel is not happening right now. We do luxury rentals. We're like Airbnb for luxury. We have luxury homes and autos and yachts. Nobody's traveling, but we're building out our tech. We're doing our branding, like you, doing marketing. We're doing all sorts of things to build and be ready, because there's going to be a huge pent-up demand, obviously, when the economy reopens. A lot of people are going to want to travel.
And as an entrepreneur, there's never been a time that you can get your ducks in a row like this.
That's right. In fact, we've been able to take down our website, just sort of work on a live website, as opposed to really working, where you'd have to work in a development environment and worry about what's going to happen. We just sort of pulled the wheels off and did something and we're able to do some crazy things.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe quarantine, I always try to look at positive sides too. So it's the best time to invest in yourself. And I keep discovering all my life. I have a huge passion to yoga, meditation, different healing therapies. And since you kind of stuck at home, it's the best thing for you to open up yourself, go internally, and do things that you're normally too hectic to do or too busy to do. So I joined the class, healing class, Kundalini yoga healing class, and it was an amazing experience. I, at the beginning, joined just for myself to do my own meditation practices, that it helps you be more in the schedule, because you have a group of people, you have a master, you have commitments, so you don't forget or don't get lazy even during the quarantine. But it's ended up a course for healers. You not only heal yourself, but you heal others. And the beauty of it, that with social distance, it's perfect, because you don't have to meet the person in reality. You can just meditate, and it's a lot about compassion and a lot about love. And I think we all need this a little bit now during the quarantine time, because everything is so hectic. So when you just calm yourself down, you have the clarity, so you can rethink things in your life, rebrand, do things like, even with maybe you find a new angle for your business, because the world is changing around us too fast. And the best thing to be open to opportunities rather than looking the negatives. So
wow, I'm just redesigning a website. She's doing all this spiritual stuff.
Saving the world.
Adequate at this moment,
Well, Matt, I have to ask you because you and I came together years ago through Unique Photo, your former life. I mean, I have to assume that you're documenting this time in history.
I mean, I think everybody's documenting this time, as we go through it. This is one of those times in life where it'll be, what did you do during the COVID-19 outbreak? Where were you? What did you do? I think we'll all remember it the rest of our lives, of course,
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've done, which was a little bit of a surprise for me, is I started posting on social media a little bit more aggressively in terms of talking about politics and things like that. And what's really interesting, I think, about this time is that people have become more divisive, more aggressive, more all sorts of things. I grab my...
Like Mia right now?
Yeah, that's right. She seems to want to be in the picture here. And it's really interesting, I think, because people are at home and they have free time, it gives them an opportunity to sort of vent out there. So I've done a little bit of that. I will remember that. I know when it goes back, who's going to have time to do this kind of thing? And, you go back to your normal lives. But it's really interesting out there how the discourse has changed out in the world because people are just at home in front of their computers and they can go to Facebook or Twitter and say whatever they feel like from the safety of their homes.
Exactly. So what are some of the political touch points that you're emoting in your posts?
I mean, really, it's talking about the crisis itself, and obviously our country has formed into two groups. One, you think it's, basically, I'll just simplify it, you think it's Trump's fault or you think it's China's fault. It's one of the two. People fall into those two categories, and they will argue until the end of time, bringing this quote in and this article. It's really sad because, it's supposed to be a time we're supposed to be all working together to fight this, and it's not really so much the case.
No, not at all. Are you giving your political opinions or are you just being a neutral voice and letting people duke it out in your comments?
Me, neutral?
I have to ask the question.
She's the peacemaker right there. But
I know.
I have a position too.
No.
I tend to be really tough, but only when it's necessary.
Yeah, I actually consider us very lucky because we sort of, I think that's a really important bonding point for any couple that are together is that, and it's not just politics, it's you have to see the world in a very similar way because it affects your values. And your value system is really affected by how you view the world. And if you're a couple, it's okay for one to be conservative and one to be liberal, but it becomes very difficult when it intersects at your values. And when the values are not the same, it's harder to do that. So we sort of, view things like that. So I think that's really helpful. Would you agree with that?
How do you feel your local government, your new Governor DeSantis downward, how do you think they've handled the crisis?
I think that DeSantis, actually, the numbers are proving out that he did really well. He is, I call him the anti-Cuomo, not because, I'm not picking on Mario Cuomo, I'm not trying to say, Cuomo is a showman, he gets up there and he's got the New York speak and all of that stuff. And DeSantis kind of speaks in a monotone, and he just kind of says, we're doing this, there's no ego involved, there's no nothing. In the meanwhile, he didn't really close down the state the way New York did. We had hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers coming down here. He very quietly quarantined them, even though he took a lot of abuse because he stopped them on the roads and handed them cards and said, you have to quarantine. But he did something really smart in the beginning, is his medical experts told him that the at-risk population were the older people, and so we obviously have a lot of older people in Florida. So one of his first acts was to send personnel into the nursing homes and into the assisted living places and monitor them and control the flow. And as a result, we ended up with a lot less deaths and a lot less dangerous spread of the virus, even though there's huge tourism here, huge influx. So he's looking like a really smart guy right now, even though he took a lot of abuse in the media because he didn't shut this down and he didn't do that and he didn't do a lot of things. So, it's whether you like him or not, I mean, the numbers are bearing out that, considering Florida is whatever the third, fourth largest state, we have, an influx from the Northeast when all this came down. The amount of cases and the death rate here is low. The hospitalization has been handled. All the things that you measure are doing pretty well.
Yeah, I will say that the media up here has kind of vilified him because of the whole spring break thing, allowing the spring breakers to be on the beach.
Right. And they actually tried to close it down, but Florida has, hundreds and hundreds of miles of beach. People are down here, to send in the police and do that thing is a very, very harsh measure. But they did close down the beaches. The people were just here. And, this is all a convenient memory kind of thing. It's sort of like, I saw one reporter ask President Trump this the other day, you acted too late. And he's like, I closed down China before even one person died. I was called a racist. I was called a xenophobe for doing that. So it's really hard, we're looking back now, it's really hard to take like really drastic action before there's anything really going on. So it's easy to have 20/20 hindsight, but that turned out to be a relatively small event.
I think it's also the most important is the result that we don't have as many cases, the percentages relatively low as was predicted for COVID-19, and this is success if we achieve that number, which is not as they thought would be. So even though the beaches were not closed as early as people would hope, but at the time nobody knew what's going on. It was very early stage, and people just were looking to understand, and to close something like so large, it's not that easy, I think, because it takes regulations, special documentation, special orders. So they did it kind of halfway. So, and I don't think a lot of people at the time realized how dangerous was this situation, and I don't think everybody would follow as much as everybody follows now. So it was difficult, different mentality, and you cannot apply that different mentality, different time to as what we know now.
See, I think there's another thing that went on too. I think that when the people sense that the government is being reasonable, they're more likely to comply with the instructions. And when they feel the government is overstepping their bounds, they get rebellious. And so one of the things I think that DeSantis, I heard him say it yesterday, the day before, he said, our people really follow the rules. And I thought, well, maybe Floridians are more ruled, but it's not really true. I think it's just their steps were more measured, more reasonable. We've heard the Miami mayor get on. He's a really reasonable kind of guy. I mean, they're not opening. He explained why they can't open the beaches, why the beaches are not going to be open for a long period of time. It was really interesting. And I think people understand that. Florida has law that says you can't just restrict the beaches to Miami residents or Florida residents. So if you open the beaches, they'll come from states all around and flood in, and then you'll obviously have a spread. So unfortunately, won't be able to open the beaches. But they're trying to open some of the businesses. You can imagine the hotel industry down here is just crushed. There's a tourism industry. It is just in big, big, big trouble. So, I really think that the representation down here is much calmer. It's at a much less, having been in the New York area our whole lives, it's like there, everything is so intense. Here they sort of act a little more reasonably, a little calmer, a little less ego, a little less bravado, and I think it ultimately works better.
Yeah, that's such an interesting perspective. And, you said how countrywide, everyone's broken up into two camps. And you would think that this event, this great unifying event, we can come together like we did on 9/11. But I'm not seeing that. I mean, I'm seeing a lot of good deeds. A lot of great people are really stepping up to the plate, but I'm not seeing the American flag, God bless America, kumbaya moment emerging from this.
I think because some people in politics, it's a game, it's a big game, and a lot of people just trying to use this as an opportunity for other political issues, and everything becomes more extreme because it's in up and down kind of situations. You're seeking for that break to do what you were never able to do before, and maybe this is the chance and platform. And it's sad that some people will just use this sad momentum when you have to really worry about people's life for their own egocentric political dreams, and just.
Yeah.
I think people sitting at home is a big issue too. They have, when 9/11 happened, obviously the country shut for a couple of days, week maybe. Here, people are sitting at home, and idle minds lead to, idle hands. There's some expression like that?
There is expression, yeah.
I messed up. I totally messed up the expression. It's like that. And I think that I recall Ronald Reagan's one of his most quoted lines of all time when he said, "Politics is the second oldest profession, but every day it resembles the first oldest more and more."
What's the first?
Oh, no, we'll tell you later.
We'll tell you later.
Oh. That's
So
hysterical.
I think it's a pretty popular saying, but I think it's never been more true today. I think that, whoa, what goes on.
I will be surprised, but there are many people who likes sitting home and being home with their families and kids and just enjoying the time. It actually reveals a lot about your personal relationship with the person you're next to.
I'm in.
Well, that's because you guys are in a happy relationship. Imagine all of those in that. We have talked extensively about this topic. If you were in a bad relationship and being stuck in quarantine, my heart really goes out to you because there is probably no greater help.
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm in a very lucky situation because I have a very, very tolerant woman sitting next to me who's willing to put up with all of my, craziness, OCD. I'm perfect. Yeah, I'm just a perfectionist, and as long as you're perfect, everything's good.
It's very simple for me because I'm almost perfect anyway, so
That's right.
I don't have to do anything.
So Matt, you have, created businesses, sold businesses, so you have a nice pulse on economic climates. And you're starting a business now and launching. How do you think we emerge from the other side of all of this, whenever that is?
It's funny because I think that question actually is sadly tied to politics, because I think that there's actually politicians out there, people running states, particularly governors, that wouldn't mind seeing things stay tamped down a little longer than it should, because it might end up, changing the political climate. But all things considered, I think that our economy was so strong. Will the rebound be fast? No, I don't think so. Particularly certain industries are going to be really, really impacted. So I think that we're going to see a slow rebound through the rest of the year. I think that's basically what's going to happen. I think once people realize that it's safe to go out, they're not going to die when they go out. God willing, of course, that's going to happen. I think that you'll see a quick bump in business. Imagine nobody's gone out to eat in whenever, right?
Months. It's going on months now. Yeah.
That's right. Nobody's gone out to eat. Nobody's been to a movie. Nobody has, gone to the pool, gone to, done those kinds of things. So I think that you'll see an immediate sort of rush, but I think that business is going to be unfortunately slow to come back. Certain industries, very slow. Other industries, a little faster, but I think the median is going to be a rebound through the rest of the year.
Wow. Marie, you have any?
Everything's open, how everywhere will be like now. For us as a woman, like to go to salon.
Oh, I can't wait.
Haircut on time. I'm worried about it. Nails, or you go to beach, you go to restaurants, from food packed in mountain advance, doctor's appointments that you couldn't do it during the COVID-19. It's like maybe another couple of months of, I don't know, a little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It's actually a serious problem because, you think of all those people that haven't just been to the regular doctor. Just go to the regular doctor and get a checkup. Find out your cholesterol's too high or whatever, you need something. The secondary health problems are really actually concern me a lot. I think about it a lot.
I do too. I mean, and I have grandparents that are 91 and 87. I mean, thank God they've been smart and they've been staying home, but I just hope that this is all away by the time they can emerge from their homes again.
I get news from the religious Jewish community, and that community has been absolutely devastated. They don't talk about it much, but they had Purim, which is, a big Jewish holiday where everybody gets together right before it sort of broke. And so many of them got sick. And if you just look, I mean, it's a crazy circumstance in New York, in Brooklyn. Literally crazy amount of them have passed away. It's actually very painful to see.
Oh, God.
Certain communities got really affected, really affected. And I read, what's going on with older people, particularly in New York. it appears that New York made a mistake or a tactical mistake, and they started sending positive patients, older people, back to nursing homes, and it spread through the nursing homes. They actually, instead of keeping them in the hospital or doing whatever, I don't know what they're supposed to do, they send them back. It's a big problem. They're starting to talk about it in the paper now. It's part of what's contributing to the high death rate.
Go ahead.
I think, like, before we finish the conversation,
Yeah.
the question for you that's in my mind, that's I'm
Yeah.
curious to ask. What do you believe, what's your plan to do the first day once everything is going to be open? How do you plan to spend your day?
Chiropractor.
See?
Go to the chiropractor. A nice massage.
Yeah.
A facial, because my skin like just feels awful. A haircut. Yeah, that grooming. I just want to groom myself. I feel like, you know, an ungroomed animal right now. How about you guys?
I think I would gonna go on the bridge. Just vision and sense of freedom and just travel somewhere, just to go on a ride and see people around me, kids playing, and everybody's just like, you know, can touch to each other without fear, or just going with no mask. People just, I don't know. I think I would be just happy to see that.
Matt, how about you?
I think get in the car, go drive someplace, and go eat at a restaurant. Like, go sit down and actually get served. You know, there's been a lot of cooking going on here.
Too much cooking. I'm like cooked out. I'm so fatigued from it.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are. I mean, the cooking skills here have definitely improved, but having somebody cook for me might be really, really excellent as we go forward.
Matt, Maria, where can people find out more about you?
You first. Where can we find you?
Instagram at Real Maria Savina.
Yeah.
Right?
Her Instagram, I'll do it. Her Instagram's at Real Maria Savina, and her website, her design website is blueowl.design, because this beautiful person happens to be a phenomenal interior designer too. And obviously interior design is not happening right now, of course.
No.
Not so much right now. And for me, you can get me at Sweetwood, at Sweetwood on Twitter. I have a really popular Twitter. I say a lot of pretty outrageous things there, a lot of following. My website's msweetwood.com, and we shouldn't leave without mentioning my book, Leader of the Pack, which you can find on my website, msweetwood.com.
Great read during the quarantine time.
That's right. I'm actually gonna, I think I gotta send out an email, tell everybody, you need to read this thing.
Yeah, of course. Let's do it. All right. Well, this was so great. I'm so happy we got to catch up, and I'll talk to you soon. Let me know the next time you're in New York.
Yes, be well. Thanks for having us on. It was
so
really good
much.
seeing you too.
Yes. Bye.
Bye-bye.